welcome back to the Hypervision podcast. I am your host, one of your hosts. Sorry, I'm not trying to steal a thunder here. One of your hosts, Noah Man. That is
No,
I.
man.
We are back here with another episode, fresh off a holiday weekend. Drew, how was? You can introduce yourself and say how your weekend was. We haven't really talked since.
Yeah. Well, like Noah said, I'm Drew, the other host. We're back today. We've got our primes again. We're here.
I'm still working on mine. I've been putting it off for far too long. It's been crazy here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. My weekend, it was pretty. The 4th of July itself was a pretty chill day. I didn't really do much. Um, but Saturday, I hung out with a couple of people I work with because my coworker had a comedy show, so I was out for most of the time then. That was a lot of fun. And Friday, I had a softball game, and it went really, really, really great. I was 2 for 2. We had 4 hits in the entire game.
there you go. Oh wait, whoa! Four
Yep.
hits the entire game in a slow
We
pitch softball league.
as a team had 4 hits. I
Oh
was 2 for
no,
2.
Bryce, I'm sorry. We will never be like this. I promise.
Yeah. We lost.
Yikes.
Yeah.
4 hits. That's tough.
Yeah, I don't think the teams were playing are full church league teams like they say they are. I think they pulled in some ringers here and there.
Mm,
Unless all these teams just have like former D1 athletes all over the place. Maybe. I don't know.
yeah,
But yeah, it's been a rough season.
interesting. You
Yeah, that
having
was my
fun though?
weekend though. It was fun.
Good. Good. All right. Well, today I don't know. I just feel so. I feel it more in control here. I kind of like it. It's
You are
interesting.
in control. This is you.
Um, Today I haven't told you the topic yet. I have some topics in mind, but I feel like this one is I kind of had two I wanted to talk about. The one I'm pretty sure you've kind of already hit on a little bit, but today I wanted to talk about. It's a little bit vague, but I'm pretty sure we can kind of mix into something. I wanted to talk about creativity.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's a very vague topic. I know last week I gaslit Drew up on being, creative and whatnot, but that kind of got me thinking of how you got that way, how you kind of think of things, and kind of we can just kind of talk about, um, kind of what we do to try and be more creative. So that's kind of what I had in mind.
Okay.
And then my other topic was adversity and kind of how we deal with that. And I feel like you could kind of mix that in here too, potentially. But I more so wanted to just talk about creativity because I was curious about that. So, however you want to start it off, be my guest. Because
We could get very creative here.
no, I mean I just know that I try and be creative, but I feel like whenever I talk to you and you know think of today for as a great example. You showing me all those things you're creating for your work. Um, you know, I feel like I try and be creative, but I feel like for you it almost comes naturally, and I think I don't know. I think like whenever I think of my creativeness, and then your creativeness, it's like man, that dude's really kind of going as above and beyond as he possibly can potentially, and he can create stuff that I wouldn't even think of. So I was just kind of that. That's kind of what I want to talk about today. So
Okay. So I guess I'll start. This is, everyone's different with their creativity. Like my
for sure,
creativity is
absolutely,
completely different from your
absolutely, I agree.
creativity. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, because the people that get what I'm about to say will understand it. Like Tyler's creativity is just on a whole other level of
Yes.
some things. Like it's just what pops in the kid's head. You like it's something else. That's
Mm,
a whole other 3-hour topic, maybe.
correct.
Um,
You're right.
yeah, I guess it. In a way, I guess it comes naturally to me at this point. I would say I've also now gotten to more of an area where I put myself in situations where I kind of am forced to be more creative and work on things that are like, like outside of the box a little bit. And I even thought about this today a little bit, like with these posts I was making for work, a little bit like of context to it. So I run the trivia stuff for our work that we do every week. We had our final week because I was going to cut it after the first 6 months. And then for the last 6 months of the year, I was going to do a different type of like trivia style. So this was the last week we had, like end of June. And at the very end, we had 3 people tie for the most points. So right away, my mind went straight to the Cars scene, like right at the start when they all 3 get there, like all 3 tie, like Lightning McQueen sticks out his tongue. It's the freeze
Mm,
frame. So that was the
hmm
first thing I did with it. I just posted, I was like, hey, that's really funny. This is kind of how the final week of trivia went. Then today, I was just sitting there and I was telling one of the guys that was a part of the 3-way tie, I was like, hey, we'll probably do the tiebreaker on Thursday when everyone's here. And it was just going to be like, they have, it's first to answer 3 questions, right? But that simple. And then the guy I share an office with was like, he's very sarcastic. It was like, do it on Instagram Live. And I was like, and everyone laughed. And then the moment he said that, it was just like and I was like, my brain just like ran with ideas. And I was like, I actually could. So this Thursday, well, it'll be out. Don't worry about it. This will be a week after. Last Thursday will have been the Instagram Live um, trivia finale. But I ran in my mind. I was like, how could I like make this thing sweet? Because like I kind of want to make it fun. And immediately I just thought like, because it's not as like professional and it's a little bit more fun to like work with and more creative. It's like a YouTube boxing like announcement. Because I just saw
hmm
like KSI's recently done his. Jake Paul's got a lot of his coming up. So like I've been seeing a lot of those like I guess flyers or banners, what you want to call them, if
hmm
that's what you could do, but it's all digital. So
Promotional. Yeah.
yeah, that stuff. So my mind just like ran with ideas, and I was like, how can I get that? So that I then spent, I think, like a total of 3 or 4 hours today just making different posts for that. And that's the so you kind of like with adversity with it. It is really tough. Like when, like especially like I don't, if people are like me in this scenario, like once you get an idea in your head, it's really tough to then execute that idea because there's just so much like first off, where do you go to actually start doing it? Like depending on what it is. Like for me, if it's posting something on social media, where do I start it and where do I start to make it and create it and all that? Um, and then once you're in there, it's just like putting all the pieces together. A lot of what I've done just to figure it out is just like I go through and look at like templates and I kind of just build around things that like fit the thing that like I'm going through my head and I just scroll through templates for like 20, 30 minutes. And whatever I find, I just build from there. Um, so that's helped me a lot is just because I have a lot of like a scatterbrain when it comes to like if I get in that kind of mindset. And Noah has, he said it last week. I get in that moment and then he just receives paragraph long text because my mind's just going poof.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, but I say like, just getting in there and like actually just throwing different things at it, seeing what sticks. And you're like, okay, I like that. I'll come back to it later. Um, and then like having a few 1, 2, 3 like rough drafts you've got, send it to someone maybe if you can, see what they say, and then run from it from there. Put your own spin on it and stuff. And I don't know. That's what I do.
Cool. I like it. No, that's awesome. Do you? I mean, you obviously like it, right? I mean, you like to like create.
Yeah, yeah. So I was talking to someone today about it, and I was like, like it's not really going to be that hard of like, like that's what I did at work for 3 or 4 hours today, and I was like, so it's going to be a real fun day. And they kind of like made a joke about it, and I was like, I mean, it's not actually going to be difficult because like all I'm doing is just playing around with pictures for 4 hours, but to get out what I saw in my head and actually produce it and like, I guess, make the post that I want to make, that's the really tough part is because I mean, the fun part is like I can really kind of go whatever direction I want with most of the social media things that I post for work or even for Hypervision because in this area I don't have anyone above me. Like I'm the only person doing social media for my work, and then I've kind of just taken on the liberty of doing social media stuff for the podcast, but that's also because I legitimately do love to do it. So I was like, yeah, it's going to take me out probably the rest of the day, but I'm not going to mind it at all. Like, this is what I want to do. Like, I'm really happy doing this. So yeah, that's my long-winded answer to say yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. No, that's awesome. I was always curious about that. I mean, I would say for me, I mean, it can come naturally, but I'm not. I don't want to say I'm not creative, but I just feel like if I have stuff, like I don't put it down, like you
Mm-hmm.
do. Like if I have an idea, it's like, all right, yeah, that's an idea, but I never like immediately put it down on something. Um, I don't know. I've with my work, I've seen, we have like a creative services person and like the social media person, and I've seen like, the work they do, and it just kind of got me thinking, um, you know, I would kind of like to be like that, kind of be like a out of the box type thinker, and kind of just create things and whatnot. But yeah, I was just, and then I know you do it too and whatnot. So yeah, I was just curious to talk more about it. So yeah, and you talk a little bit about adversity in there, and I understand. Do you ever have like, writers have like writer's block, but do you ever have like a time like that? I guess I don't know.
Uh, I guess, yeah. It kind of depends on what I'm trying to get done at that point. Like, sometimes I think I'll focus just more on like of the I guess like the three things in my creative life are podcast, work, and then like if I do YouTube stuff a little bit here and there. Um, YouTube's kind of bottom priority lately, just because it's less important to me. Um, but no, it definitely can be tough, like to think of ideas. Like it is kind of hard to market an IT company because a lot of it's like service based. So I can't really just kind of show off a ton of the stuff because it's kind of just it happens when it happens. Like if people call in and stuff like that and need help. Um, so my main goal there is really just to make IT look less nerdy, and make it look more mainstream and cool, if that's possible. Um,
Yeah. Hmm.
so that's where I meet the blocks, I guess, with work stuff. But no, I go through a little bit of periods where it's just like, yeah, I don't even know what I would post right now. Like I can't think of a new thing because I don't want to just keep posting the same thing like repeatedly and all that. But I don't know. That's kind of just when I don't really try to make posts. Like I have like multiple folders, like some for work and some for the podcast, where like I just go and scroll through templates. I'm like, all right, that looks like it could fit for work. That looks like it could fit for hypervision, stuff like that. So I'll set groundwork if I'm in a place where I don't feel like I can just spew out ideas and stuff like that. So I think that's also like because I wanted to say this a little bit. Like you said, how I started to write things down, and like how you say you don't do that when you need to, because a lot of that goes back with me being like more intentional about things. Like uh, if I want to make, if I want to be proud of what I do while I do this, I can't just like keep forgetting the ideas that I have and stuff like that. So I made a
Correct.
point
Yep.
out of it to start writing down ideas when I have them, or just spam texting them to you or whoever I'm talking to at that point.
Hmm.
Um, So that's helped a lot because then I have my ideas. I don't forget them. I won't forget a finale. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Uh, I wanted to ask you, like, you say you want to be more creative. You want to do more outside of the box things. In the areas that you're in your life, like, where do you think you could be more creative? Like stuff like that. Like, do you see? Do you think you could be more creative in the stuff you do, or like, do you think you might need to switch what you're doing and stuff like that to maybe be more creative?
That's a good question. I don't know because like I don't know, like the job that I'm in, it's like it's kind of I don't want to say it's cut and dry, but it's like how can you really be creative? And like there probably is a creative way I could be doing my job or more creative way, but I don't know. I don't think it's anything. I don't know. I mean, where can I be creative in sales?
It's a great question. Where can you?
I'm sure.
Where can you?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's the thing. I know that there probably is an answer to that, but like right now, like I'm just not.
And
Um,
from my
I think for
experience,
me,
I would say,
okay,
sorry,
no, that's fine.
like when you sit down and just like get a book out, like to write something down or just like read something, I say it's, for me at least, it's a little tougher to just like find creativity with that. Like sometimes literally like the best idea is just kind of like if it just kind of happens, like I'm talking to somebody and then all of a sudden it just
Yes,
sparks
that's
an idea
fair.
in my head, stuff like that.
Yep. Yep.
So I mean, because like I feel like if you're sitting there at work, you're staring at the phone, and you're like, all right, how can I be more creative here? You're probably not going to get
Yeah.
much done that day.
Yep. No, and I agree. But I don't know. I feel like, being creative is something that's important to the culture of the work too. Especially I think what you do as well. I think it's just important for the company and the culture that you're trying to build. Like I think it's just very essential. So I've seen it with my work, and I'm sure you've seen it with yours. So I was just curious about that. But
I want to ask you. So when you say be creative, what does that mean?
see, to me, that means like you're thinking of an idea and you're bringing it to life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's actually really good. Yeah.
So that's what I think.
Okay. Because I want to make sure you're not just like sitting there and like assuming creative means flashing colors and bright things and all this stuff.
No,
Okay.
no, not at all.
Good. No, that's great. That's
But
the way I see creative and stuff like that, and creativity. You're on a good track. I feel like then trying to bring your ideas to life, because it is really tough. Like sometimes when you're in your own head, and maybe people are more mentally stable than I am. I don't know, but ideas are just, they're tough to replicate. Like you're in your own head. You can think of whatever you want, literally. So it is tough to
yeah,
bring those back to real life.
yes,
I'm currently trying to think of like ways I could be like, what, you could do this, but like I guess I don't know your full process of your sales job and everything and all that, so it'd be a little tougher.
you can come job shadow me one day.
I could, I could. It's a long drive for a shadow.
I wouldn't right now. It's a little interesting, but it's
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess, well, like for your job, do you have like proposals you send out to people and stuff like that?
yeah, yeah.
'Cause, I
We do
mean,
that.
that's where my mind's working, because that's a lot of what I do, is making proposal type things where it's just like, hey, look at this. This is what we do. This is how it works. This is the cool stuff. Blah blah blah. Here's what sticks out and what makes you want to buy this product or service, stuff like that.
Sure, sure. Yeah,
So it's definitely, you can get a little creative there, like if you're sending someone something. But it's also,
yeah.
minor league is, I think, I have my, my things about minor league, because it is, they work you, but
Oh man, don't
they
even get me started.
they are probably the most creative sports league in America, like
Oh
by
yeah.
far. Every time I look at your schedule just to see like if I'm trying to plan something new, I go and check like, all right, does he have games this weekend? Every single home game has a theme.
Yes.
Like you have like what, 140 games, 120?
Yeah.
So that's what, 60 to 70 games where there's a
Correct.
theme all the time.
Yep.
Yeah. And I guess that's more on the marketing side and you're inside the sales area. But again, it's minor league, so you're probably in the marketing area.
Correct. Yeah.
um,
Um,
yeah.
no, I've witnessed that firsthand. It's actually insane the amount of work that goes into that. I just love how we can just kind of have like a freedom to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have like video board shoutouts, and sometimes like our group shoutouts are just like office jokes that only that we would know,
Yeah.
and we just put it up on the video board. It's great. Like currently right now we have like a random couple who we got like a photo of, and we just randomly pop it up on the video board and say, "All right, guys, welcome so and so to their first game. It's their first date." It's just been like a running joke forever. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, the creativity in minor league is it's pretty interesting. That's why it's kind of opened me up to this like whole new uh,
Yeah.
world. Because I was talking with our social media guy, and I literally told him this straight up, like he's the one who does all the promotions, like all the social media stuff, and I told him straight up, I was like, you could have like a baseball team like the Savannah Bananas, and he would like go crazy, and I told him that, and he was like, yeah, thanks, man, whatever, but. I don't know. Just the amount of creativity is absolutely insane. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what it's kind of what brought up this topic. And I know I know you do it too. And do you think like that's kind of what you want to do in the long run? Because I know you kind of like me, kind of have a little um, interest in like personnel or like player development type stuff, kind of ish, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you think about that?
See, you could open a whole can of worms right there with that question.
What?
With what I want to do,
Oh yeah.
because
But I'm saying like
well, sorry.
no, I was just saying like, would you want to be like do like kind of creative services or some sort of like what you're doing now with like a sports team or I guess anywhere, I guess in general. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of curious about your thoughts about that.
Yeah, I've thought about. I've applied to a couple things of like social media manager, like for a few sports teams around here, um, and be head of marketing for a Premier League team. Never heard back from them. I think I'm
Not
gonna have
yet.
to chalk that one up. I guess I can't be the
Never
top
chalk.
dog in England, but it's whatever. Um, yeah, I don't know because I've I'll throw a little bit of a it absolutely nothing's gone on with it, but me and Michael have talked about like trying to legitimately make Hypervision a brand and like a business.
Ah, we're gonna go into this.
So
Okay, I
that
like
would
it.
be, years down the line and stuff and lots of like legitimate like work where like I put my life into this to like make it real.
Drew, if you could, I really wish I would have saved. I could probably scroll back up and look at the conversation, but Drew and I had a well, that's just say Drew had a very extensive conversation with me about this whole brand, and it was fascinating. I mean, absolutely fascinating.
You should
But yeah,
see what I wrote in the Hypervision journal yesterday. I got
oh
4
really?
pages of it of each branch that I want to have.
I mean, it is just so intricate. It's awesome. I love it. I would love for it to come to fruition.
It'd be great.
And by golly, we're gonna try. Why not, right?
And the thing is,
So
like, it doesn't even have to be like my thing is like, it doesn't have to be my full time job. That's obviously the end goal because why not have it as the end goal? This is what I love to do. Um, but like, I'm making more money than this is costing me to do. So I have no issue doing this. Like,
yeah.
as long as I feel happy doing it.
Mhm.
Um, Now, maybe once I start doing more merch stuff, we'll see if I'm making more because that isn't cheap, which is why I'm still holding off on it for now.
Yep.
Plus, then I have to work out the whole like if I want to charge people for it, I had to do a point of sale system for it, where to put that in, and how to get it to people for cheap because shipping isn't the cheapest thing.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Anyway, what I want to do is like I love the content creation. Like that's a big of like the I drew like a little like tree, so it was hypervision, and then I had 4 branches. One was a very small branch off to the right, so really 3. The 4th one was esports stuff. It'd be pretty cool to like sponsor an esports team, but that's like if I ever somehow get hypervision to be a full brand, then I think I could look into the esports thing. Um, I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, the because I don't I'm at a very I'm at like a fork, a 3-pronged fork in the road of what I would want to do. It'd be great if I could have all 3 in one, but there's like the side of me that wants to work with sports and stuff. So there's like I have 3 different parts of sports I like, which is like I want to do training stuff, like one-on-one. I think I like that more than I like coaching. That's just the fun part that I like working with players directly and like actually honing in on their certain skills and mindset stuff. And
Sure.
then like a sports psychology type thing, like because this is when I was the team manager at Wilmington in college. the head coach Alex mastered in sports psychology, and like it's big. You see it a lot. Like I'll probably talk about this more, so I'm not going to go too in depth with it. But like players all the time, you can tell they're in their head, but like you don't realize it until you're out of it. Like I didn't even realize it probably that like when I played, I was too in my head, like thinking about things. Like I don't remember much of my first 3 high school seasons. I remember the fourth one, and that was when I felt the most like relaxed and freed when I was playing. Um, and then the moment I quit in college and I got out there and played with the guys, like I was playing the best I ever had, like in practices and stuff like that. And that's because I literally was just so not carefree, but like I didn't have the stress on me of like trying to overperform or something like that. So that's just the thing. But sports psychology, I think, is big and it's huge for athletes that know they can do better, but there's something blocking that last step. Third would be mostly headed up by you is the scouting section, because scouting, like it's definitely evolved a ton and it's really fun and it's great. Like if you're into numbers and analytics and all that kind of stuff. Um, but I think, there's more, like there's so many players that just get like left, like slip through the cracks, stuff like that. So I think there's like a good section to go into of like either better data to analyze and stuff like that that can help you like figure out if this person's actually going to be something or not, or just another like more opportunities for players to get like recognized and stuff like that, where it's not just like, hey, spend $3,000, send your kid here and he'll get watched by a D1 scout, not stuff like that.
Yep.
Like more opportunities for all the players to like, actually get recognition.
Yeah.
So that's the sports
No.
section that I would love to do.
Yeah.
Then there's the whole content creation media side where like this, like I would put the podcast in that, making these kind of posts like where I turn a trivia thing into a WWE Monday Night Raw type thing. YouTube stuff, just making videos, just anything I can create kind of is like it. It really like editing videos. Like it sounds. Some people probably think it sounds mundane. You just sit there and you're just editing the video. I made one yesterday. It was just from videos I had from my vacation I went on a few months ago. I just threw them in there and I was like, yeah, cool, that'll work. And it was very peaceful. I find it very relaxing. Um, so that's kind of one section, and that would be awesome. Then the third is more of like, I guess, the brand slash business side, because I did actually really enjoy, as you can see what Noah's wearing right there, I really did enjoy making those hoodies and stuff like that. Um, And then it would be awesome, like we always have the joke of, oh, Legacy Cornhole's our sponsor, stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, like if we could make partnerships with like other things, like, and that kind of ties into the esports stuff, like it'd be awesome. Like just to work with people, give them awareness, they give us awareness, stuff like that. We promote them. And if we start, ever expanding into the like sports psychology training, stuff like that, media creation, stuff like that, it just opens so many avenues for different people to like work with, and that's honestly like end goal stuff. But yeah,
No, I like it, man. I
there's
would
the
love
can of
to.
worms you opened up.
No, I'm kind of happy I did, low key. But no, I would love to go on that journey. I mean, realistically, it'd be pretty insane. So, no, that's interesting. Um, yeah, I mean, we could make a whole podcast on that. Multiple podcasts on that.
Yeah, multiple, it would be,
So,
it's a long process.
so we have to get Mike back on, and it'd just be a great content session. No, I'm just kidding. Um, yeah, man, that's kind of all I had. Anything else you want to talk about? I mean,
I mean, I could do this all day. This is my life.
anything interesting?
See, I kind of want to hear from you still, because this was like you want to delve into this a little bit. um let's see. So do you feel like you've been creative in the past with things? like with what you've done, like maybe high school, if you worked on things, or like in college, like if you found like you did things that were creative and you're like, all right, that was really cool, I want to pursue that, but just never like followed it.
Um, I'll tell you what. Yeah, I mean, for me, really, I mean, let's say like some like high school projects where you kind of had to be on your own and like create like a poster board, something like that. Um, I always try to be somewhat creative, and then the problem with me is that and I understand it's pretty common. Like I think that something is great, and then I see other people that had the kind of like the same project I did, and they just went like above and beyond and better, and then I see, and then it's like, oh well, my idea was crap. But no, it's been that's been so like that's fine, and then I think scouting is actually interesting. So I wouldn't say I created it, but I've kind of tried to do my own like grading system
Right.
for scouting. I've kind
I'll
of
give you
taken some
props for that because I
ideas.
saw that binder and it was like I was just going through it one day and I was like, "You do this? Like you never talk about it." Like that's what I think.
Yeah,
Like you keep it very quiet, so I don't really know, I guess. But if
so
there's more
yeah, that
things
was
like that,
some.
who knows? Like that was like it was extensive and it was great. I mean, like it was a really
Yeah,
in depth scouting thing.
that was someone else's kind of thing, and I was just kind of the reason for that binder is because I was gonna use that to kind of scout players, and then I kind of wanted to create my own type of grading scale.
Yeah.
Eventually, it was kind of like my end goal. But yeah, so that's probably the most creative I've ever gotten. The problem is like too, it's like I know it's like extensive work, and for something like that, it'd take like hours and hours, and I don't know, it's just tough to do in your free time. But
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
uh,
So you sparked a little bit on me with that because it brought me back to like when I realized I really want to like get into marketing stuff and like just making things. And
for
it was
sure,
like, was it sophomore year, I think? Yeah. I was in marketing 101 or intro to marketing, whatever it was, with Sue. Absolutely loved that class.
Sue.
One of my favorite classes was an intro to marketing. It was a group project. I was with Adam and another guy. And it was like, we had to rebrand Oreos or something like that, or like make a new Oreo, like a rival to it.
Mm,
Um, and then we had to like think of a business plan and then market it, like how we would do it, what we would do, stuff like flavors and all that. So
sure.
Adam took over more of the logistic stuff because that's him. And then we had another guy like write up like what we would say and stuff like that. And then I was like, I got a great idea. I'm gonna make a website. So I went on like this like free website creator, and me and Adam got together and we like Adam made up like because he likes to like Noah, he likes to get in Photoshop sometimes and just make things. Sometimes they're really really
Who?
dumb.
Adam?
Adam, yeah,
Adam? Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
That dude. Sorry, I'm currently moving my setup
You're
because
good.
I need to charge my phone. But I'm still listening.
Yeah.
No, that's yes. Remember his
No,
he's like
I just called him
the
very stupid because I think I know what we're both thinking of.
yes yes.
Yeah, he likes to get
But
in
yes, I
Photoshop and
understand what
make
you mean.
things. But no, Adam's actually really good with the like. He doesn't really let his creative side come out that often because he's very, very by the book and like this is it. If this is how it needs to be done, that's how he'll do it. But if he like
Sure.
gets a
Yep.
thing in his head, he legitimately can't stop until it's done. So like there was one day I was like, "Hey Adam, I made this website. I like we had a logo for it and everything." And I was like, "You've got these things right here. You made like one little like sketch thing of like he took an Oreo box and um turned it in. I think we called them like Dunkaroos or something like that. I forget what it was. Or Dunkums. It was something with Dunk. But
Hmm.
uh I had Adam like make up like these like sketch drafts of like what our brand was supposed to be, and then like we made like 3 or 4 different ones. Like one was like a normal flavor, and one was like a chocolate flavor, and then another one we did like because it was Dungaroos, and I was slightly in charge of it, so I had Adam make like a Giannis like a special edition one and like a finals edition one because it was like basketball sponsored and stuff like that. And we were saying like, oh, we'll work with
Hmm.
athletes and stuff like that because it's in the name.
Sure.
But yeah, that like
Dunkaroos, isn't that like
we
a
weren't
legitimate
supposed to
thing?
make a website or anything. We just had to be like, yeah, this is what we'll do and this is what we would work with. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a website. This is how we'll market it. It's a marketing class. And when I did that, I was like, I like this. This is fun. So that
For
was what
sure.
really I
And I
think
know you
kicked it in.
then you created videos for the soccer team too, right?
Yeah,
So that kind of
yeah,
helped too, I think. But
yeah.
oh
And I
yeah,
think by that
Dunkaroos
point, I
like
was
a
already
thing?
making YouTube videos. Was I?
Oh, okay.
I probably was, like just for fun,
Yeah.
like the COD montages and stuff like that.
Oh, dude, I forgot. Yeah, of
Actually, maybe
course.
not,
Yeah.
because I didn't post a YouTube video till senior year. I was not making YouTube videos yet. So maybe that was what really pushed me. I was like, I could do this. I can make YouTube videos. I can edit stuff like that. Yeah, you're right. Because I did one
Yeah.
before senior year, so I did 2 or 3 videos. Yeah, but no, I really enjoyed that. Um, a lot of it is because like, especially like we talked about with music, like it really is it's strong. So like the music I'm trying to find for like soccer highlight videos is the one where like it's just bass drops all over the place and everything, and like probably like no words, or it's just like the words make absolutely no sense because the beat's cool. So they just took some random person that has a cool voice, put them in there, stuff like that. Uh, so yeah, I get hype when I make those videos. It's nice. It's very very therapeutic. Honestly, I would sit anywhere in the apartment and just listen to like lists of those songs and just throw them on clips and stuff, and it was great.
Sure.
Yeah, but yeah, that's like I said, like I've lucked into it, or maybe I mean, I guess it does a little bit of luck, but like I'm now in positions all the time where like I need to be creative to do what I need to, or maybe it's because I've set myself up to the point where like I'm going to be more creative about this stuff. Like I prefer the quality over quantity, I guess. Like I don't want to just come out and post every single day on this stuff because like yes, that would get engagement up, that would make it look like we're doing more, but I kind of want to do it my way, which is spend however long it takes to find a template and then work on that and make it look really fun.
Hmm. Awesome. It's awesome, man. No, I think if you had a job in that, I guess you already kind of do, but you know, for somewhere else, I think it'd be that'd be cool. So
Yeah. And like
interesting.
the fun part I have with it is like, because I thought about this today, like of where and like I was making that post and someone asked me like kind of along the same lines as what you're talking about today, like just kind of like where I think of these things or how I get to it at some point. And I was like, it's funny. I didn't go to school for this. Like everything I'm doing is really
Hmm.
self-taught at this point. Like I didn't
Yeah.
go to school for video editing. I didn't go to school for picture editing or like content creation or anything like that. Like I went to school to learn how to call people and how to be an athletic director. That's really all
Yeah.
I did. Like I guess I
That's
took that
fair.
marketing
Yeah.
class, but I only took one marketing class my 4 years, and it was an intro.
Hmm.
And it was 3 years ago, and they didn't like suit it and just tell us like, hey, this is how you make an Instagram post that looks cool. No, she gave us like marketing ideas and stuff like that, like the textbook marketing stuff. So now that I'm actually like out on the job doing it, and like I'm really just kind of paving my own thing for it because there was nothing in front of me at like where I work of marketing really at all, and it was just like, hey, we did this weekend, and that was what they would post, or like, hey, here's a new service we have, and that was the extent of social media for them. And the podcast was created from scratch, so yeah, I'm in an area where I have full freedom kind of to do whatever I want, and I'm learning as I go along with it, which is the fun part, is because I can see the progress. Like you can look even at now, like our very first episode compared to now, like just how it looks, I guess, and how it sounds and how we sound during it and how we act during it. It's nice that like you can kind of see yourself growing with things because we're not qualified really for what we're doing technically. I mean, you are, I guess. It's what you went to school for, but I'm not.
Well, yeah. Well, our degree was it was pretty vague. You could really go wherever you wanted. So
Yeah, that's the
I
beauty
mean,
and crappy side of sport management.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So interesting.
Yeah.
Alrighty, man.
Sorry.
No, all good. I was
Okay.
just
Well, I was going to ask you a little bit of, because we only touched on adversity a little bit, like, and maybe I forgot it by now about you if you already talked about it. Because I know you said like, oh, I've looked at people's projects in the past, mine didn't look as good as theirs, which is all relative, really. But um, I guess like, where do you see yourself hitting adversity, like in now, like your day to day life? Like, it doesn't even have to be work. You can be creative with mostly anything, honestly. Like, I walked into your apartment and I was like, yeah, this is a canvas right here.
I mean, literally, it is. To this day, it hasn't changed either. Um, and I've
And I mean,
gotten
that's fine.
compliments
Like,
on it
if
too.
you like it how it is, that's great, and it's not an issue. Like, if you, I'm not gonna say you're uncreative because you haven't moved your apartment. Uh,
No, I mean, it was certainly on my mind, but I mean, it just sucks. Whenever you're in season, it's like you're working and you're dealing with clients, all that stuff. So we don't have the amount of time is limited, and how you spend it is, or
mhm,
how I spend it is different to everybody else. But no, creativity, adversity. I mean, I don't try and like copy other people's stuff, like because like whenever I was telling you, like man, that theirs looks better. It's like I just wish that I would have kind of had not the same idea as them, but just kind of been on like a similar track, I guess. Um, just kind of just having those more ideas to create something maybe not better, but just like I don't know. I don't know if I'm explaining myself correctly. I just wanted to have like more options, I guess. I don't know.
mhm. So
That's
at
kind
first I
of
was
what I
gonna say
meant
it
with that.
sounded like you were saying time was your issue, and I can get it in a second
Yeah,
if
I
you want.
mean,
But the what I was like with the copying thing, like technically a lot of what I do is copying stuff. Like, it's things that I've seen, but like I would more just say like I'm taking inspiration from it. Like you pick little
that's
pieces
fair.
here,
Yeah,
you pick a piece here, you pick one here, and you kind of make your own type of thing. Like,
sure.
we both grew up watching YouTube, like for most of our middle
Yep,
school to high school lives and stuff like that. And that's really where you start to develop things in your life that like you won't keep everything with you from middle school and high school. I at least hope not, unless you were somehow that awesome of a person. But I peaked at middle school, so I can't say much. Um, no, because you'll kind of form part of what you want in middle school, you'll form part of what you want in high school, and you'll bring that with you to college a little bit, and through college, out of that, and into the work life. Um, unless you really just hated who you were in middle school and high school, and you cut everything out. Maybe you did that, but I don't know. You've already gone through your creative state then, and you're happy, hopefully. If not, go
yeah,
listen to some other podcasts. We talk about that stuff.
yep,
Uh,
exactly.
I lost my train of thought there. I was doing pretty good until now with all that, staying on topic. Copying, inspiration. Yeah. Like, so we grew up with YouTubes. Like, we've watched all of the people that like pretty much brought YouTube to the state that it is today, of where it's like this metropolis of like, you look at someone, you're like, I want that life, because it looks like they just upload a video every week and then they make millions of dollars. And technically that's what they do, but I mean, there's a lot of work behind the scenes. Like, for my crappy little 5-minute montages, I'm getting clips for months for that thing and stuff like that, and like editing stuff and then finding stuff that works. I can only imagine the amount of effort that goes into, like they have their main, their second, their third channel, their clips and all this stuff. It's a lot of
Sure.
content creation, and it's
Yeah,
especially at that level and that amount of like production. I'm sure it's very draining, but they can have
yeah,
editors, so I guess it helps.
yeah.
Um, yeah, but I guess maybe if seeing it as like copying and then like uh wanting to be at the level they're at, I would more see it as you can take inspiration from them and use that to kind of go with your own way a little bit. Because if you see them up here and you see yourself right here, like with the things that you've done that you consider creative, you have much more room to grow, clearly, because there's that much of a space between you. You can take the things that you see above you, and you can take things that you see below you that you actually kind of like, because everyone's got their own little spin on things. Everyone's different. They all have their own kind of little pizzazz they put on things.
Mhm.
And I think that's the beauty of what I love doing about this stuff, is that you can literally do whatever you want with it, kind of. Yeah, so I guess I would say don't be too hard on yourself, because it's always going to change. There's going to, like, trends are going to change. I'm going to have to change up how I do things, probably with like marketing the podcast and all my work stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's growing. I would see it as more of like, you're just going to constantly grow. Like, you're never actually, like, as good as I ever could be at marketing and stuff like that. I don't want to be at my peak right now with what I'm making. I would really hope I'm not at my peak. Um, I want to constantly see it as a thing that, like, oh, I can improve on that. Like, ooh, yeah, I can see where that doesn't look great. Like, I'll probably look back at the post I made today, like in a couple months, and be like, why did I do that? Why did I put that there? Add this in, stuff like that. Um,
Sure.
yeah. And then, like, if time is your issue, and I know you definitely are busy, um, but I think there is, like, you know, times throughout your day, like, if you can find, like, I guess not if you have downtime really, but just like, if you can find the parts of your day where you feel like that's where your brain's cooking the most, um, maybe just like stepping away for a second, getting the ideas out of your head, stuff like that, writing something down, put it on your phone, voice memos or something like that. And I figured out it's pretty much late at night for me. Uh, that was why, you got all those texts from me at like 1, 2 in the morning and all that stuff, because my mind was just going, and I was like, I can't miss
Yeah.
this. Like, this is my prime time for
Yeah.
my brain. So
It's fine. And as I've always said, if you need to do that, do it.
yeah.
So it's fine.
And that's like, sometimes, a lot of times, sacrifice comes in there, and you kind of have to be like, well, I could go to bed, I could go read a book, I could go run, I could go work out. And sometimes even doing that stuff is what gets my mind going. Just like letting my mind relax for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it just goes, yep, here's your idea that you've been looking for the last 5 hours. But
Sure.
yeah, it's just kind of figuring out with yourself, and that might take a little bit of time, of like, when you think your brain's the most active and really giving you your most creative mindset, I guess. And
Hmm.
then when it's actually in that time, doing what you can to either execute things or just like plan things out, set things up, and write them down. That's what I've done a lot lately, and I felt really good about it.
It's awesome, man. So, all right. Well, I think we're, where we at? 50 minutes?
Roughly, yeah.
So, yeah, it was just a great conversation, man. I'm happy that we talked about it. Ever since last week, it's kind of been a topic on my head just to kind of talk about, see how you feel about it, and kind of um, see if it's something that you wanted to do in the future. So,
Yeah.
for sure, man, this is great.
Hopefully, I didn't
So,
talk too much, but you did bring up one of my favorite topics.
yeah, absolutely. So, all right. Well, anything else to talk about today?
um,
Anything pressing?
let's see. Not that I can think of. Make sure you share this with your friends. I don't know. Get
Yeah,
hypervision to the
share with your
moon. Let
friends.
me make this a brand. I got great ideas for it. It's only getting better.
Forgot to shout out to Legacy Cornhole. Shout out.
Shout out
Be
Bryce.
trying to work on something there. So
Yeah.
we shall see. Um, yeah, maybe a little. Hoping to get together soon. So maybe a potential vlog, maybe potential vlog.
It actually would be.
You
Yeah, it
know.
could. It could happen. I would keep your
So
eyes out for it. Late July, early August, maybe.
we shall see. Trying to plan something here. So yeah, we shall see. Listen to other podcasts. Listen to this one. I'm ranting and going on and on, so I'm just going to end it here. It's been great talking to you guys. Drew, any final words?
Let's see. No, Love you guys. Thanks for the support.
All right. We will talk to you guys soon. Appreciate everybody listening. Appreciate the feedback, and we will be back next week with another great topic. So
Either.
we'll see you then.
Peace.
Peace out.